What's up, you guys? We're back with another episode of the DISHIN podcast, episode 21. We got into a lot on this one. We got into our installation at the Westin Buffalo. We also talked about a recent project that we're doing with Buffalo Fashion Runway.
We also did some SkateSkins for Andrew Poturalski in the AHL All-Star game. We had a few shop visitors this week. We had the Boston Fleet come by, as well as the ANAHEIM Ducks. Episode 21 of the DISHIN podcast is live now. Let's get it.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the DISHIN podcast, episode 21. 21. Can you do something for me?
21, let's go.
Let's rock.
Let's get it.
Let's go. We have a lot to get into today. I guess just like looking at this list, we have a lot. Boys are back in town. You broke the glass at Riverworks, which we'll get into. We have Four Nations recap. There's an install at the Westin Hotel. So we'll get into that too. Buffalo Fashion Runway did a lot of stuff. Got a lot of projects going on with them as of recent. AHL All-Star SkateSkins, which we'll talk about. The PWHL in town. The ANAHEIM Ducks coming to the shop yesterday, and a show and tell piece. So yeah, a lot to cover today. But
that was good. We should do that every episode. Just go through the whole rundown.
Just doesn't stop.
That's nice.
Yeah. So if people want to, we might go in that order. We might break that order up a little bit. So if people start listening, they're like, we'll see. We'll see what I like. So
let's start with Four Nations. So you were out there. It depends how much you want to talk about, but Montreal and Boston.
Yeah.
What a tournament, though. That was so much fun to watch. I know we were talking about that a couple weeks ago on the pod, just like intensity level, what that was going to be like. But that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I was. I'll be the first one to say it. I was wrong on my take. I thought they were going to be a little reserved, and that was the complete opposite. So
country, when you're playing for your country, run the clip back.
Do you guys think that these players from the league, when they go to Four Nations, do you think they're going to go as hard? Like, you think we're going to see like the competitiveness?
I think anytime that you pull on a sweater for your home country, I think it just like kind of elevates everything a bit more. So when you get to that point and you're playing for your home soil, it takes everything up a notch.
I want to say that they'll go hard, but also at the same time, I find it hard to believe that the teams aren't telling their top guys to take it easy while they're out there. I think they'll still play, like they'll be good games, but I don't think you're going to see guys laying out the body.
I think the game's going to be a little bit different too. You'll have like a top forward from Vancouver or something going to play, but then like they might be bottom of the barrel, like depth-wise in the lineup. So, is their game going to change up? I think that the first few games, guys are going to kind of try and get a feel for how these games are really going to be played, what the atmosphere is going to be like. And then I think just by nature, that competitive edge is really going to come out closer to the end of the tournament.
When you're playing for your country, nothing else matters.
It's so true. It's so true, dude. Because what did I say, too? I said, I think the competitive edge is going to come out, later in the tournament. But, dude, it came out right away. We saw USA and Canada playing against each other. 3 fights in the first, 2-3 minutes of that game? Unreal.
Yeah. First 3 seconds, 3 fights in that USA game. You see Kachuk was on Jimmy Fallon last night?
Yeah, I did. I got to watch that. I didn't see that, but I did see a photo of him. Like the NHL did a collab post with him and Jimmy Fallon. So
yeah, that's cool. Well, let's talk about your experience.
Oh man,
bring us through the whole week leading up to the final game.
Yeah, so the trip started out in Montreal. I got to cover Canada versus Sweden. That was the first game of the tournament. Unbelievable city, first off. Like Montreal, we've talked about it on the podcast. This was my third time there. The place was absolutely electric. But got into Montreal. Got to cover the morning skate for both Sweden and Canada. Team Canada just looked dialed in their morning skate, and anytime they practiced while I was on this whole trip. I think the coolest part of the whole thing was the atmosphere, especially in Canada too. Mm-hmm. And then you have Team Canada winning it in overtime. Mitch Marner scoring that goal in overtime. Crosby having 3 assists. Still the GOAT, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, unbelievable though, man. Unbelievable atmosphere. I couldn't even believe I was there. I'm still trying to process it all.
I was gonna say, it got to be a pinch me moment when you're feet inches away next to Crosby and all these just legends on Team Canada up and down, even Team USA, and just being around everybody that was at that whole tournament. It was like an all-star game on steroids. So yeah. I mean, just that's got to be so cool just to be up so close and personal with those guys.
Yeah, it was cool. I'm trying to think if there was a moment that stuck out to me. There were just so many different things. I think just seeing the fans and how passionate they were for each country, especially Canada, US. I mean, that was pretty cool to see. And I've never, even during Cup final, I didn't really see this, but almost every seat was taken during warm-ups for every game that I worked, which was unreal to see. You don't really see that in like the NHL, it's like you kind of see it in playoffs. But I mean, when I say every seat was packed, I mean that whole bowl was packed.
You shot in both those barns before, but how'd you kind of pick where you wanted to shoot, especially like that final game, kind of getting your vantage point and everything?
Yeah, the way it kind of works, I was assigned to an area for both Montreal and Boston. I did like Boston's area a little bit better from where I was shooting in, especially with the shooting style that I do, and with like the motion tracking stuff. It definitely made my life a lot easier because I didn't really have to deal with fans being around me. I was posted up right next to Sportsnet with Elliot Friedman, which was super cool to be next to. Had a ton of room to edit after goals too, so
Nice.
that was cool. But yeah, overall, unreal experience. Both cities were unbelievable. Got to see our friends Pete and DJ. They actually hosted a very nice dinner for myself, Evan from BR, Johnny Laz, and the Oilers Nations guys. We went to Brico in the North End, and awesome experience. Pete and DJ, A1 hospitality or A+ hospitality from them. They kind of remind me of us a little bit in a way. Like when people come to our city and we have them at the shop, we do certain things with them, take them out for wings. So it was cool. So when those guys come to our city, we gotta make sure we show them a good time too.
For sure. Yep, that's what's up. Yeah, and then that final game, dude, the overtime game. Like, I was watching that, and then like jump on social, jump on Twitter or whatever, and like saw your clip right away. Like I was on ESPN, and the caption they had was like, this angle of the goal in the Canada final game, and it was just unbelievable. And I knew like right away, as soon as I saw the clip, I knew it was yours. I don't know, the color, just everything about it. So I want to give you your flowers for that, because that's sick, man. I can just see like a random shot on ESPN and know that it's you. And same thing with Derek, like it's different styles. Like I can see him at Sabres games and different work that you guys do. So that's really cool to see. And, at a game that's so nationally televised, it was the talk of the town for the entire week. ESPN First Take, everybody was talking about comparing the NBA to the NHL. And what a week for the NHL too, just to be able to pretty much dominate that entire week, where it's kind of a lull in the NBA. Everybody's kind of over the All-Star game. The dunk contest is not what it used to be. And yeah, for the NHL to be able to come in and dominate like that was unbelievable. And I hope that they can continue that momentum. There were a lot of eyes on hockey this week that necessarily wouldn't have, watched it during a week like this. And, for someone like me, I love the All-Star game, but I mean, we've been 8 or 10 years without country games like this, national pride and everything. So I was up for it.
Yeah, I got goosebumps still thinking about it too. Just the amount of pride that the fans had again in the building, but also the players too. I think the players definitely want to have, like, they're excited for the Olympics now. Even though, like, I was seeing online, people were saying, "Oh, it was just an exhibition game. Oh, congratulations, Canada, you won a trophy." But it's like, okay, well, if U.S. won, we would have been going nuts too. So
for sure.
But that last game was just an unbelievable hockey game. Like, no matter the outcome, like, yeah, obviously we're American, we would have loved to see U.S. win. But I think, dude, like you said, you got the greatest players in the game right now, all on the same ice, and how could you not appreciate that greatness in some capacity? I mean, McDavid scoring that had to have been so special for him. I remember when he was playing in the OHL, there's a clip of Sidney Crosby comparing himself to McDavid. So I'm sure that was pretty special for a guy like McDavid. And, he still has a lot of years of hockey left, and I'm excited to see what he does in his career.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well said. Well, yeah, I think that puts a wrap on Four Nations. What a tournament that was.
Yeah, so while I was gone, too, I want to run the clip real quick. So you guys did a SkateSkins shoot while I was gone at Riverworks, which the content looked fantastic. Jared and Tony were crushing the videos. Jared had a funny video that he showed me that I don't think it went out on social yet. But
not yet. That was a good one, though. Jared's been running with some different, types of creative, so it's been cool.
Yeah. So I don't know where I was. I can't remember where I was at the time, but I remember getting a text message in our group chat, and it was a picture of broken glass at Riverworks that Derek sent me, and I'm like, that, oh God, what happened? And then like 5 minutes later, a video gets sent in the group message, and it's Matt taking a one-timer at Riverworks, hits the glass shatters. He just looks at the camera. You could see the clip right here, but that was hilarious. What,
Matt? Unfortunately, I think you're gonna get a little bit roasted in the comments on that.
On the shot?
On that shot.
Well, to be fair, I think it was off my back foot. That thing was fluttering, man. I think that's probably why I broke the glass. The thing was like a knuckle puck. But Yeah, no, that was yeah, we broke a puck out there too, which was crazy. Yeah, so we should have kind of known right away. I think it was like the wind. It was like felt like -5 that morning when
my camera was
up.
freezing up too.
Yeah.
It was very cold. I think it was like with wind chill, like probably single digits out there. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
To be fair, I got a one-timer off my back foot, let that thing go. It was fluttering through the air, hit the glass, and like as soon as it hit, you could hear it. It was just completely shattered. And it's funny. You look at my face. I could just hear Tony like cracking up right away. I'm like, you think that's funny, Tony?
Well, and like,
Then I like do a double take, look back, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go tell Sean he's not gonna be too happy. And yeah.
well, and if you look
we'll
at the video too, it's really weird. Like it had to have just hit at the perfect spot. Like,
Yeah.
because it doesn't hit it like flat on. It hits it like kind of on a corner. It must have been on the buckle, and it just must have, with the cold, like just been like the perfect angle, because it doesn't make sense how it even broke, honestly.
I was gonna say too, how far into the skate were you guys when this happened? Like
10 minutes in.
oh
Yeah, it was not much of a new one at all. Yeah, but we
maybe-
did crank through the rest of it. We got a bunch of installs and we made it work.
There wasn't glass all over the ice either. There was luckily a graphic on the glass, so that kind of like held it together. But it's funny, you can see it in the video. This glass like breaks, and then you just see it shift down and like just settles like really quick.
a funny story for you, Matt. So Derek called me after like on his way home from that shoot, and I was like, dude, what happened? He told me everything that happened, like same thing you were telling me, and he goes, yeah, Sean was kind of pissed though, and I was like, well, did Matt have to tell Sean? He's like, yeah, but you know, just it happened, and I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, well, if it broke the way it did, like I'm sure it was gonna break in a youth tournament. Oh yeah, because Derek said there was a youth tournament going on that weekend.
Yeah,
and they were just on a time crunch, and I'm like, well, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, if the glass broke that way, it was gonna break regardless.
Oh, it was
no
going to
matter
break
who hit it.
mid-tournament, most likely. So, you know, you probably did him a favor, honestly.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, shout out to Riverworks. They played this good ice quite a bit, and yeah, sorry about that, Sean, if you're watching this.
I feel like we've had a few incidences now at Riverworks.
Yeah.
Only
the shoots.
only two, honestly, but they have been back-to-back, unfortunately. You cut your hand open.
Yeah.
You know, freak accident. and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
glass breaking. Could be
Shit
worse.
happens.
Could be worse. We made it, and to be fair, I said it to Matt. I was like, we made it about 5 years, so you know, it's 5 years in March of SkateSkins, basically. So
Yeah.
we've been pretty good.
Stuff's bound to happen. It's hockey. It's a tough sport. You know,
And
things happen.
it's outdoors too. It's an outdoor rink, like, so it gets a lot more wear and tear than a normal rink does.
That is true.
It's crazy they still have glass there, honestly.
I know, because I feel like every other rink has plexiglass now.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Sean.
Yeah, Sean, if you're watching this, there's Matt's formal apology. So, for having a cannon of a shot.
Oh, God.
Some other news too. Do we want to talk? Yeah. So, what's up with the Westin? What's up with the talk? Can we talk a little bit about the activation there and the installation there?
Yeah, so my boy at the Westin, Alex Schwartz, so he had approached me about a month ago, and they have this really cool window display right next to the gift shop at the Westin. And if nobody's been to the Westin's a dope spot right downtown off Chippewa, right across from Starbucks. It's a great hotel. Have a great lunch dinner spot in there, patina, which is awesome too. But yeah, we were approached by them to put together a shadow box display of memorabilia that we've had over the years, just like stuff that we've been gifted or different merch that we've kind of created and whatnot. So yeah, we put together a really sick display, jazzed it up with some goalie pads, put the Gretzky hockey hoodie in there, the Jordan skates, OVO stick, and some other stuff too. And yeah, worked with the Westin to build the entire backdrop display. They did all the custom printing, hung like stars in there and everything. And they put together a really cool little write-up on us that, you know, talks about what our brand is, kind of who we are, and pretty cool for us to be able to have that. I know a lot of players when they come in on the road stay at the Westin, and Yeah, so want to say thank you to Alex and his team at the Westin, David too, for allowing us to do that and set it up. So that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, you're kind of low key about that too. I remember seeing something about the Westin on your calendar, and I meant to ask you about it when I saw it, but I was like, I have an idea of what it's for, but just we'll see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And speaking of the Westin too, and like all those installations and just community too, because they're really big on. I know one thing is they seem like they're pretty big on supporting community and things like that, and different brands and businesses in the area. They had cafe in there, I think, at one point. I remember. Didn't you do you did like a wall wrap for them? Didn't you?
Yeah, I helped Chase do a backdrop wrap for that. Yeah, so that was last summer or spring. Yeah, and Oxford's done a wall for them. Yeah, done the same thing for them too. So yeah,
that's sick. And like even again, like speaking on community and stuff, a lot of things we've been doing as of recent, I want to talk a little bit about this, is the work we've been doing with Buffalo Fashion Runway. Back in October, they had an event at the studio, which was super successful. Derek and I got to work that. And just everything that they're doing. Like now you Austin, and Kane from Buffalo Fashion Runway designing the jersey too for tonight's game. Pretty cool. So I wanted to just chat a little bit about that because I really love what they're doing there for the creative community as a whole. So wanted to get your thoughts on that, and I just have you talk a little bit about the project you were doing and some other stuff that we have in the works with them.
Yeah, Kane from Buffalo Fashion Runway reached out to Austin and I about designing a custom jersey that was made of all upcycled material from Goodwill. So Kane came and he dropped off all this material, kind of some different fabrics and whatever, and Austin and I put together a design, created the entire template for it and everything, and Austin went crazy with all the he did all the rotary cutting work, he did all the stitching, he did all the embroidery in-house and everything, and it was nuts, man. Austin's so talented when it comes to that stuff, and he's never made an upcycled jersey like this, so a little bit of a challenge for both of us, but no, we finished it up last night and took some pictures of it in the shop, and I'm going to get some nice professional product lay flats of it too. But yeah, Kane and his entire team, man, they reached out to us. That's in partnership with the Sabres for Black History Month, so that's going to be really dope. And yeah, they're actually debuting it tonight at the Sabres game against the Ducks, so that'll be pretty cool. And then I think there's 10 jerseys that they're doing for all the victims of the top shooting, and we had a pretty cool detail on the jersey. We had 10 stars that we did along the sleeves on each side to pay homage to the 10 victims that lost their lives. And that was pretty special. And for us to be a part of that, means a lot and is a testament to the community, I think, as a whole. And yeah, and then these jerseys, they're going to be, I think there's 10 jerseys that they're doing. We were fortunate enough to do one of them. And then these jerseys are going to be displayed throughout the city after the event tonight. So I know one of them is going to be up in the Albright Knox. One of them will be in Goodwill somewhere. So pretty cool to see what some of these other artists are able to put together alongside what we did. And pretty cool that they're going to live on forever to honor those people that lost their lives.
Yeah, and it's cool to see, Buffalo Fashion Runway doing all these different things in the community because when you think about like the fashion side of things and the fashion shows that they do and those kinds of events, you think like, oh, this is just for, fashion designers. This is just for models. Like, no, like they're opening a whole new thing for all creators in this community. You have, again, your models, your fashion designers and things like that, but also your photographers, your videographers, like people who are just kind of getting their feet wet in the creative industry as a whole. And I think what's cool about what they're doing is they're allowing people who want to be in the creative community to try new things and get their feet wet with stuff. I went to an event last week with them, the Black Carpet, which was unreal. Like they had a crazy turnout. I think they want to say they had like over 200 people. It's probably more than that. Excuse me if I'm missing the number on that, but unbelievable event. Like they did such an amazing job. Had a ton of really, really awesome fashion designers there. And, also, again, content creators there and videographers and photographers. And I think it's cool, again, that they're opening the door for these people to try new things because, I remember 5 years ago, like when we were really over probably more like, I don't know, like maybe 7-8 years ago now, like when we first started to go hard at all this stuff, like we didn't really have those kinds of events to go to. Like it wasn't a big thing. And now it's becoming massive. And it seems like there's an event almost every month.
Yeah. I remember when I lived in Rochester, their arts community was just like pretty insane. I used to go to this thing called the UUU Art Collective, which was pretty sick in Rochester. When I spent some time out there, and I think in the past like 3 to 5 years, Buffalo arts community has really risen. There's so many different fashion runways that people do now. There's like this really, I think the studio's done a great job of this too. Is just like cultivating a movement of creatives that can utilize different resources and kind of tap into each other a little bit more too. So yeah, that's sick. Buffalo Fashion Runway is doing some great work, and I think this will lead into a little bit of more runways that we're starting to do. Obviously, we did the first one with restoration, which was really sick, and excited about one that we're going to be doing on April 10th, along with the Sabres.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about that now, or do we want to save that for another episode? Actually, no, we can talk about that now because it's out.
But yeah, so April 10th, we're excited to be partnering with the Buffalo Sabres and Ryan Miller for his Catwalk for Charity. It's going to be at Seneca 1 from 7 to 10 p.m. Going to be unbelievable. It's going to be with us, 26 Shirts, Cafe, the Vintage Raider, and there's a couple other brands I can't remember that are going to be there too.
There's a few other brands they added into the mix, but when we first started talking about this, those were like the initial brands that were kind of in there first. But yeah, dude, I'm so excited for that. I think, going into this, obviously Ryan Miller has this event pretty much every year, and it's cool to see Buffalo Sabres alumni come back here and still be involved in the community. And I know he is someone who, when he played here, he did a lot of things away from the game, like kind of putting together this charity. And I know he was super into photography while he was still playing. And it's cool to see them utilize their connections that they have in the game to bring everyone together. And yeah, super, super excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, so that'll be sick. So yeah, tickets are available now, and we're excited. We're gonna do some crazy stuff for this runway. We already have a couple looks planned. We're really gonna take it above and beyond, kind of like what we did with restoration with the smiley heads and whatnot. But have some pretty cool stuff in mind for this that we're gonna be debuting. And yeah, like you said, all these players that are gonna be coming back to be a part of the event are gonna be pretty special. And there's a Sabres game that night. They're playing Columbus, so the bar will be open at Seneca 1. Gonna be a pretty special night, and for Ryan to be there is gonna be pretty cool too, just to have him be a part of the whole thing, put it all together for his foundation. So pretty special.
Yeah, and there's also gonna be quite a few Sabres alumni from what we're hearing in attendance. So very excited for that. Excited to have guys back in town, and we know a few of them that are going to be there. A couple friends of the show, a couple friends of the brand. So excited to link back up with them in the springtime here. And yeah, should we talk about the SkateSkins?
Yeah, let's do it.
The SkateSkins.
You want to kick it?
Yeah, Andrew Poturalski wearing SkateSkins at the AHL All-Star game.
Pretty sick.
That was what, his third year wearing them or second year wearing them?
Second year, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, Potsy, he's been fortunate enough to go to the AHL All-Star game for a couple years now. And Matt and Benny designed a pair of SkateSkins for him like they did last year, and they got a lot of love.
Yeah, Potsy reached out to me and he wanted to wear a pair of SkateSkins this year that were, Sharks teal colors. And he also wanted to have his two pets in there. I can't remember his pets' names. It's a dog and a cat. And then he also wanted to have Craig Burns' logo in there too, as his home course when he comes back home and plays. He's a Williamsville native. So, yeah, Potsy's the man. Benny knows him really well. And we're able to turn some skins around for him pretty fast, sent him out to, I think the game was in Coachella Valley, and shipped them out to him, and he wore them for the game. So that was pretty sick. And Bailey hit me up too, and before even Potsy reached out, and he's like, yo, you got to do some skins for Potsy this year. So always great to work alongside him, and for us to be able to do some stuff at that level is pretty sick, and always cool to see guys that are wearing skins at the top of their game like that. I know after that game he got called up to the Sharks and had a point against the Stars, and he's been having a great year. He was leading the NHL or the AHL in goals and points, I think. So he's off to a great. He's having a great season.
Yeah, I think he should be in the NHL. I'm not just saying that because we're all kind of friends with him, but he has been a player I've always enjoyed watching, and I love to see when he gets called up, because I think he deserves that more than anyone, and I think he's put his time in. So shout out to Potsy for rocking skins, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
cool,
super
and it's
sick.
cool that like the AHL kind of has more freedom to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the AHL, I mean, every league almost, you can kind of do whatever you want with your skates. And, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do more with the AHL. And, working alongside Potsy has been really cool. So, yeah, thank you to him.
Yeah, grateful to have that relationship too. Speaking of relationships and just folks that we've gotten to know over the years in the hockey space and the hockey community, with the hockey community being so tight, we had a lot of different folks come to the shop this past week.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
had a couple big groups, special groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I went to the women's panel that the Sabres had put together a couple weeks ago and got to listen to Olivia Zaffuto speak alongside Megan Scheike and some other women that were on there as well. And, I was really inspired by everything that she was talking about, from being a player, a women's player. She played for the Boston Pride before, and now she plays for the Boston Fleet. So we were at the takeover game this past weekend with the New York Sirens and the Boston Fleet, and Olivia had reached out to us and said that she wanted to come through the shop with a few of her teammates. So yeah, they pulled up, and unbelievable, man. These women are just like at the top of their craft, and it's so great to see that they're able to have a platform now to be able to play professionally. That's so organized and structured and everything too, and they're so down to earth, such great people, and it's always fun for us to be able to have people here and give them a tour of the shop and not only show them the front, but what we do behind the scenes, which is so cool with the 4 or 5 rooms that we have back there, and just like showing everything off from the bubbles to the skins, like how we make everything, some sample pieces and stuff we've been gifted over the years. So yeah, shout out to Olivia, the Boston Fleet, for coming through and checking everything out. I was telling them about my daughter, and they were like, "Oh, we want to see her, we want to meet her." I'm like, she's sleeping right now, so I had to go wake her up. And I brought Millie down, and she got to meet them too, so pretty cool. And Millie, if I tell her to go grab her hockey stick, she'll go grab it now. So
I love that.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. And yeah, shout out to them again. They got the dub this weekend. Like I said, we went to the game, and that game was sick. That game was so fast.
It was, man. And these women they can move the puck real well. 2, they can shoot, but also the physicality is like insane.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't. Sometimes it was. I couldn't believe how physical it was in certain areas.
There's a couple open ice hits too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, bro. I didn't know they could hit.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
they throw the body.
But now that I know that, they throw body, dude.
They do.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Sarah Fillier, front of the brand, is an unbelievable player. It was so sick to watch her play. She sniped right off the bat. Yeah, she's a 3G athlete. The company that we did the She Shoots shirts with, and she's sick. She's fun to watch.
She was sick. She was probably one of the funnest players to watch the other day. And she had an absolute snipe of a goal within like the first 5 minutes of that game at KeyBank. So and I love what the PWHL is doing with the takeover stuff. I think it's cool that they're not just staying in their respective cities. They're going to different cities. They're showcasing this. They're giving everyone in the hockey space, not just the girls and the women, but everybody in the hockey space, to really experience what the PWHL is, what they're about, what the mission is, and really put on a show for us. And we used to have the Buffalo Buttes here. Derek and I used to work a lot of those games on the film and production side of things. And it was cool to see women's hockey professionally back in Buffalo. So I really hope that, one day we do get a professional team back here. I think the city's really due for it. There's a huge market for it, I think. And it was, again, really cool to see the hockey community really rally together and show support at that PWHL takeover in Buffalo.
A lot of Buttes jerseys out there.
Yeah.
I was surprised. It was really cool.
Yeah. And what a game it was. Went to overtime, then went to a shootout. Boston won in the shootout. 5-round shootout.
Kind of just echo what you were saying, Nick, is that not only it was a good game, but their mission, it's just cool to see that they're playing regular season games. They're meaningful games, but their number one goal is to grow the game at the end of the day. They're trying to make the fan experience really good and try to invite, potential girls that, there's girls that there were so many youth teams that I saw they're all wearing their jerseys there, and it's just cool that they can finally see where they could end up being one day rather than, just a league that was going nowhere. And it was tough for the girls. Now they have like an actual place that they can hone their craft and actually play really good hockey against some of the world's best, and not just Canada and North America. Like there are girls that are international there. I think it said like 9 or 10 different countries they're playing. So
you say the one girl was like Finnish or something?
Yeah, she was at the shop. Yeah,
Yeah.
she scored. She was here. Yep. Yeah, she was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. And I think the big benefit to this, and like we talk about how the PWHL is really growing the game on the women's side. I think a big driver of that is that it seems to be getting more and more competitive, and when that gets more and more competitive, the level's down. Like you go down to like the college scene, now that's getting more competitive. Then you get down to the youth, that's getting more competitive. So, again, with these takeovers, I think it's so important for them to go to these different cities because they're playing in front of these big crowds too, and I'm sure that has got to be a driving force for these women. And again, I think that that competitiveness starting at the top and is just slowly kind of trickling down, and I think it's going to make women's hockey 10 times what it is. And like I'm really excited to see like what the future looks like in the next 10 years for women's hockey.
Yeah, well said, dude. And yeah, there's so many signs of the game, so many little girls there that were, they have all these favorite players, a lot of jerseys in the crowd too. So I hope we get a team. And I think they're already starting to talk about expansion too. So excited to see where that next city is. It's crazy to think that they only have 6 teams right now. And back when the NHL was just getting going, they had 6 teams too. It was that original 6. And yeah, I'm really excited for the future of that league, not only for me having a daughter, but for a lot of girls around the world that are, like you said, have a place in a league and players to look up to now. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and like Derek and I, we talk about it all the time. Even when we were working Buttes games, was like Derek's sister was a phenomenal hockey player growing up, and it got to a point, right, Derek, where we were talking about this yesterday, where like, what's the next step after college? They're international if that opportunity presented itself at the time. So
it just becomes more real about your options very quickly when you don't have something to look forward to or go to the next step, I guess.
Yeah, and like don't get me wrong either. Like these women, like at that time, were able to go coach and still stay involved in the game, but from a playing competitive side, like there was only like that certain bar. But now
the pool is so much smaller. Yeah, there's only so many people that can go. That's pretty much the bottom line, which is and now there's so much more opportunity, which is great, and it's only going to keep growing as more teams get introduced to the league, which will be great.
Yeah, so shout out to the PWHL, man. I love what they're doing. I'm excited for the next couple of years here to see where they end up and continue to watch this game grow for the women's.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
We had a couple more visitors come to the shop the other day.
Dude, we were kind of all chilling here yesterday, and I was like just at my desk, like looking out the window, and I look up and like, oh shit, that's Trevor Zegers walking by, and then it's like Frank Petrano and Mason McTavish. I'm like, oh shit, they're coming to the shop. So yeah, we like went in to say what up to him. That was so dope, man, to have the Ducks here, and I mean, fuck, they hung out for like damn near an hour.
Yeah,
just hanging.
Yeah, that was cool. It was their off day too. I got absolutely waxed in bubble hockey.
I bet you didn't expect to play Trevor Zegers in bubble hockey yesterday.
No.
It was really cool. It was cool to like just actually talk to them, and they're on a pretty good road trip right now. And it's just always sweet when guys come by the shop, especially. We really haven't had a group like that. Usually it's just like 1 or 2. They'll stop by and then kind of know what's up. But there's a lot of younger guys that are kind of somewhat familiar with the brand and kind of what we're doing, and they're all for the movement, which is great. And
yeah,
a really cool brand within the Ducks too. Of just love that flashy orange, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Matt, you said this a couple of years ago too. Like one day we're like Trevor Zegers is going to pull up to the shop. And that happened yesterday. And he was such a beauty too. Like all those guys were so great. They were so funny, and just talking with them. I mean, a lot of people tend to get starstruck around big athletes, big names, celebrities, things like that. But I don't know. I feel like for us, like, and I think it's important for everyone to know, like these people, like they're just human. Like they're just like you and I. Like there's nothing. I mean, they might just be a little bit better at hockey than we are. But but it was cool to just chop it up with them. I know Frank was telling you about his 2 kids, and I know you guys were chatting it up a little bit about that and how that really changes your life. And again, we were talking about the PWHL with them, and it was cool to kind of hear their insight a little bit on the game and where it's at. And just cool to have conversations with those guys and see, what they like, what they don't like, about the game. And it's really cool to have them here.
Yeah, fun to ask them just regular stuff that you don't really get to ask them. A lot of the stuff that we necessarily can't repeat, but kind of just about like what's it like day-to-day life. Just playing in California, playing hockey in California. That's just got to be unbelievable. And yeah, I've gotten to know Frank pretty well, just talking to him, just kind of chopping it up. He's had quite a career, man. Went undrafted, played at UMass, got to play for his hometown team, the Bruins, and he's played in Florida and then went out on the West Coast. So yeah, pretty sick, man. We got a great picture with them, which is dope too. And sick for them to be able to come in and just like, I've said this a million times, but just see everything that we do, see the bubbles, see all the merch that we have in the back, and for those guys to pull up, it's crazy, man. It's only going to be more moving forward too, which I'm excited about.
It's nice to get feedback on stuff that we're doing within the sport from guys at that level too, because everyone's so quick to comment on a video or something and say and have a thing or two to say, but when you have these guys come in and they see the things that we're doing and like they're at the top of their game. Like this is stuff like we're doing things that they wanted to see when they were youth. I remember like when we showed Zegras the bubble. I don't know if we have a clip of it or not, but I remember when you were showing him the bubble, he's like, "Wow, dude, I wish I had this when I was younger. Like I'd rock this right now."
Yeah,
that was cool. That was sick to hear. That was super cool to hear because he's a flashy guy, and I think he's one of those guys that's just kind of on the forefront and on like of the movement that's kind of happening right now within hockey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to drop the Benny line of what he said to Zegers when he came in. We were just chilling in the print room, and what did he say? He went up to we were just all chilling there, like shooting the shit, and he goes, "Hey, Trevor, you think you can do the Michigan on the bubble hockey?"
That was hilarious.
It was cool to just see them also grab merch and stuff too. Like they were just like naturally gravitated to it. We didn't have to we're not pushing merch on these guys. Like if you guys want it, like go for it. And like just like they were like kids in candy shop, kind of like, what's this? And just like, oh, this is collab from this, collab from that. And they were just like kind of grabbing stuff. Like it was cool. Frank walked out with a Gretzky hoodie before he left, and there's guys, you never know where they'll pop up, which is always the cool part. So
yeah, and like what you were saying too, they gravitated towards merchandise. They gravitated towards things that weren't even coming out yet. They're like, oh, what's this? And I know you have some different materials that you're playing around with in the back. And it was funny just like seeing them pick that stuff up and being like, oh, what's this? And it's like, well, that's not done yet. Yeah, it's super cool to get their feedback and see like what they want to see in the game, and grateful to be a part of all this, man. This is so dope, and it's nice that we have a spot too where it's easy for these guys to get to.
Yeah, for sure. It's accessible, and yeah, like after we just send them over to New Era and say go say what up to DJ. Yeah, pretty cool.
But yeah, shout out the Ducks for pulling up yesterday. What else we got? We got a little show and tell piece.
Yeah, we got a show and tell piece this week that is brought to you by Sneaker Legal. If you guys haven't heard of Sneaker Legal, go check them out on IG. A buddy of ours who is a trademark attorney. He actually does a lot of different law and attorney type work. Nick is wearing the hoodie right now. He also sent us some other pieces too, which are super sick. That is a nice hoodie, bro.
Yeah, dude. This is dope.
Yeah.
Very comfortable too.
Yeah, that's
I
so
love the
far.
oversized.
Yeah, and he's got a great brand, man. He will do a lot of different trademark work. He'll kind of break down some different trademarks across streetwear and just like fashion culture as a whole too. He's really tapped in someone that I've known for a while and a resource that I go to kind of when I was exploring different trademarks and protecting our brand a little bit. So that's the whole thing, man. You got to protect your brand, and he's a sneaker guy, so he'll rock with you on that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got over there?
A couple other show and tell pieces. We wanted to show off these hats that we did alongside the Detroit Red Wings for their retail shop. So these are available in Little Caesars Arena. some really cool details on these. We got the octopus on the side panel hit, just like the Blackhawks hats. Through the 3-eye on the octopus as well. And then, stars on the side too. Some nice 3D embroidery on these whole things. Just a really nice, structured 5-panel hat. These are some of the favorite pieces I think we've ever made too. And yeah, we did some shirts and hoodies with them as well. And I think by now these are almost pretty much gone at Little Caesars Arena. Our friend Rachel Hotmar, who's out there now doing some work for a news station, she had reached out to us and she sent us a bunch of pictures that are like front and center on display out there. So that was so sick to see, man. And yeah, starting to cook up some more work with them. And yeah, really cool project to be a part of with Detroit. And we haven't shot these yet. We got to get in the studio and do that stuff. Yeah.
I know.
In-store exclusive. Don't ask.
Yeah, these are not online. These are available only in the team store. So get there while supplies last.
Yeah, and I know too. Like a lot of our friends were like, "Dude, why aren't these online? Like, get them online." It's like, well, they're not. They're unfortunately just not online. But I think it's almost cooler that they're not online because it makes it a little bit more exclusive. And you said a lot of these are probably sold out. I know the Hawk stuff went super quick. So, don't sleep on the stuff we drop because it goes very quick. The New Era stuff went quick. These hats are going quick, and the merchandise too on the Detroit side too, which we can probably get into maybe a little bit next week. But it's cool to see where the brand is popping up, man. We had, the CCM Hockey House stuff, all of that. Now Detroit, New Era, and yeah, it's crazy to see everywhere this stuff's going.
Yeah, I know, man. Well said. There's 3 teams in the NHL that don't have a mascot. Can you name them? I'll give you a hint. One of them is Detroit. They have the octopus that's up in the ceiling. And, yeah, I don't know.
You said it doesn't have one?
It's an unofficial, technically.
Yeah, it's Al the octopus, but he's, like, up in the ceiling. He's not, like, an actual physical mascot presence in the arena.
I know another one.
What you got?
It's New York Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Islanders. Or do they technically have a mascot?
I think the Islanders mascot is like that.
It's a dragon.
Dragon, yeah.
Yes.
I think I have one. The Bruins.
No, it's the bear. Oh. I got to be honest. I forgot what the third one is.
Let me think about this for a second because this doesn't have a mascot.
What can we say? Can we say Utah, or are we counting Jazz Bear as the?
Damn, that's a tough one. I feel like I know this though. I feel like I was talking about this with someone a couple of years ago.
Wait, I'm sorry. It's only 2 teams, so we got them. It's the Rangers and the Red Wings. But yeah,
the Rangers and who? The Hurricanes?
Red Wings.
Oh, Red
Rangers
Wings.
and the Red Wings. Yeah, that don't have mascots. Yeah, only 2. Yeah. Did you say Seattle? Seattle has a mascot. That's
Bowie.
No, you said Utah.
I said Utah.
Oh, Utah. Who is Utah's?
It's technically the Utah Jazz Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like that probably will stay the case.
So there's 2 teams in the NHL that don't have mascots. Can you name them? Pretty much all I had. Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up too. So we've seen a little bit of this rumbling across the NHL recently, but I want to see what you guys think about home teams wearing white. I think that teams should go back to white, personally. I think a lot of times when away teams are wearing white and they're coming in on the road, you don't get to see their primary colors. I want to see what you guys think about that. I've seen some rumblings across that with the NHL. I remember even going back to like early days growing up, playoffs and everything. I think a whiteout is like such to advantage of the home team. Just like that atmosphere is just insane. I also think there's some sort of advantage with kind of white blending into the ice a little bit as well too. But what do you guys think of that as white being back with the home team for hockey?
I kind of like that. I do kind of miss seeing our white jerseys at home. It's been a minute. I can't remember. I want to say it was in maybe 2007, 2008 that they started wearing the darks again at home, which, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see a change of pace a little bit. I also think it's been interesting to see. I know the Capitals have been doing this where they wear their white jerseys with their blue helmets. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I don't know if I'm a fan of that.
Yeah,
it's a little different.
It is different.
It just doesn't. To me, it doesn't. It just looks it doesn't look natural. It doesn't look.
Yeah,
I think it's a little unmatching.
Yeah, I think white is such a clean look. I think just being able to wear white, I think it's really pure. I think if you're wearing white, I think the helmets, everything should match. I don't know about the pants. We've seen some teams do white pants, which I'm not a huge fan of. But yeah, I would love to see home teams go back to white at home because I think there's just like a classic traditionalism that comes with that.
Well, the thing is too, the home fans. Not to cut you off.
Oh,
Derek,
go.
But I just had a thought about this. Like a lot of fans over the years have really only seen, like, if you're going to a home game in your respective town or city, you're only seeing your team wear that dark color. You never really see them wear white. I can't remember the last time I saw the Sabres wear white at home.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that, I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I think it was also cool to see in Four Nations, like the dark on dark jerseys.
Yeah,
which was interesting to see. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them go back to white home jerseys. But Derek, what were you going to say there?
Oh, I was just agreeing with Matt. I'm all for the white at home. I was at the 2006 whiteout against the Flyers, and it just was like, I that's one of my favorite games I've ever been to. They had like white pom-poms too going, just like looked crazy in the arena. So I think it's a good look. And I think the Sabres white jersey right now, the away, is like one of the best jerseys in the league with the blue shoulders.
Imagine a white go head at home.
Yeah. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Take me back.
Yeah. Whenever I think of whiteouts, I think of Penn State and just like them going crazy there, man. So yeah, I'd love to see white at home. And yeah, back to the primary colors too. Like imagine the Flames coming in. Flames have one of my favorite kits in the whole league. And just seeing like that red primary, you see like the Bruins dark jerseys on the Sabres ice. And yeah, I don't know. There's just something about like, I don't know. You kind of feel that in the dressing room, I think, a little bit too. You're at home, you're wearing white, kind of just, I don't know. It's nice. It kind of brings me back to like playing growing up and everything too. It was always like that. I don't know why we get away from that really. But
yeah, I don't know what the reasoning was with that. I don't know if it was just time for a change or what. Like, I don't really know what enforced that or what provoked it. But yeah, I would like to see, even if they didn't do it full time, if they maybe did like every Saturday game or every Friday game or something throughout the entire league, I think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Again, because it's going to give fans an opportunity to see different jerseys that they haven't seen. Again, I haven't seen a Sabres white jersey in God knows, probably since I was a kid. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's been a minute.
I was talking about this with Austin a couple days ago too, but I would love to see more teams do a gray jersey.
Oh.
Do you know any teams that have a gray jersey? Like even as an alternate?
I don't
Milwaukee
think so.
Admiral, maybe. I think they did a gray jersey at one point.
Yeah. Like,
Well,
I think
are we talking NHL or are we just talking just in general? Like any gray jersey?
talking hockey.
Hockey?
No, I don't know. I've never seen it before. Imagine bringing the slug back in a gray or something like that. Just like with like a royal or gold piping or something around it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
The only team I could like think of NHL wise would be like maybe the Kings. But I don't even.
Yeah. I don't think they have a gray primary. Though, Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Food for thought.
Yeah. But yeah, white at home would be pretty cool.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. Yep. We're gonna petition it now. So drop a like on this video if you want to see white home jerseys.
Banger.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's kind of all I had. I don't know what if you guys had anything else. Derek, how you feeling over there?
We're good. We're at like 50 minutes. So.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah,
chop it.
Yeah, we'll chop
Well, our
it down.
next 2 episodes are going to be guests, so had to get a lot off our chest.
But yeah, well, we can kind of wrap it up from here, I think.
Say so.
Episode 21 out now.